Kyle Pitts in Pittsburgh. Believe it or not, the name of the most athletic tight end in the NFL has popped up behind the scenes in the Steel City, and this isn't just idle talk. As the Steelers continue retooling their offense and trying to arm Aaron Rodgers with new weapons, the front office is far from finished. A big name is in their sights, a former player is sounding off with sharp criticism, and fans are split on the direction this team is headed. Let's dive into the latest Steelers updates, and don't forget to like the video to support the channel. The Steelers have already stirred up plenty of noise this offseason, overhauling the roster in a way that's got fans raising eyebrows and analysts asking tough questions. With some big-time veterans shown the door and fresh talent rolling in, Pittsburgh's front office clearly isn't afraid to shake things up, but there's still one part of the puzzle they haven't quite figured out yet: the receiving core. And that doesn't just mean wide receivers. Now here's where things get interesting. According to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, the Steelers have been lighting up the phones trying to land another offensive playmaker, and guess whose name came up? Atlanta's ultra-athletic tight end Kyle Pitts. Yep, that Kyle Pitts. Rappaport dropped the scoop on Good Morning Football, saying the Steelers made a call about him and are actively looking for at least one more playmaker. In other words, Pittsburgh isn't done reloading, and it's not just Pitts they've been eyeing. There's also been buzz about Miami's Jonnu Smith, another tight end known more for his versatility than traditional blocking. Smith's speed and Swiss Army knife skill set make him a legit mismatch nightmare, exactly the kind of player who could relieve pressure from whoever is throwing the football in Pittsburgh this season. But let's focus on Pitts for a second. He's built like a tight end, moves like a wide receiver, and runs routes like a seasoned pro. He hasn't fully taken off in Atlanta, mostly because they haven't figured out how to use him, but in the right offense, he could burn defenses every week. That's the kind of weapon Pittsburgh dreams about. And now that the quarterback situation is finally resolved, Aaron Rodgers is officially the man under center. The next step is obvious. Get him guys he can trust. Rodgers can still sling it, no question, but he needs weapons that can click with him fast. And let's be honest, he's not the long-term answer. So every piece Pittsburgh adds needs to fit both now and the future. The good news, offseason programs are just beginning, which means there's still time for Rodgers to build that critical chemistry with his current receivers, and maybe a few new ones if the Steelers pull off another splash move. Would you like to see Kyle Pitts in Pittsburgh? Drop a comment below. But hold on, because what one former Steeler just said about Aaron Rodgers might make fans nervous. So the Steelers finally pulled the trigger and brought Aaron Rodgers to town. After months of cryptic rumors, endless speculation, and fans begging for clarity, the deal is reportedly done pending a physical. And while that might fire up a big chunk of the fan base, not everyone's celebrating. In fact, one former Steeler is sounding the alarm. Ryan Clark, former Steelers safety and current ESPN analyst, didn't hold back on SportsCenter. His take? This might actually be the worst case scenario for Pittsburgh. It keeps them stuck in mediocrity, he said, and that quote is definitely going to rattle a few terrible towels. Here's Clark's point. Sure, Rodgers is an upgrade at quarterback. No one's denying he can still play, but this move doesn't scream Super Bowl or bust. Instead, it feels like a band-aid on a bullet wound. The fear is the Steelers end up in that dreaded NFL no man's land, not bad enough to rebuild through the draft, not good enough to make a real title run. That's the treadmill of mediocrity Clark's talking about, and he's not wrong. It's been a problem in Pittsburgh for a few years now. To be fair, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. The man's a legend, but Clark's warning hits hard. Just having Rodgers doesn't mean the Steelers are ready to battle through the AFC. This isn't the NFC North anymore. With Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Lamar in the picture, this conference is a full-blown war zone. Even though the team has taken heat for how it handled the entire Rodgers saga, months of silence, fans growing impatient, and rumors of poor management up top, now that the dust has settled, the focus shifts to chemistry. Rodgers needs to gel with his receivers, earn trust in the locker room, and adapt to an entirely new culture. That's not happening overnight. Rodgers isn't the long-term fix. He's a short-term bridge while the Steelers continue hunting for their quarterback of the future. But if Pittsburgh ends up around 500 again, they'll likely miss out on drafting a top QB unless they give up major assets to trade up, which only makes rebuilding tougher. Bottom line, the Rodgers move brings a lot of headlines, but the future? Still very uncertain. Reinforcing the offense is great, but without a clear long-term plan, it's just a gamble. And if Ryan Clark is concerned, the fans have every reason to keep their eyes wide open. Subscribe so you don't miss any of the Steelers' next big moves.